In Queensland, it's Beef Week in Rockhampton, their annual event, and the Prime Minister, of course, is there wearing a cowboy hat and telling anyone who will listen what a great supporter he is of the beef industry. Have a look.
It's an opportunity for us, including those of us who live in our cities, to pay tribute to the role that farmers play in going literally from the paddock to the plate, as the saying goes, making sure that Australians know that what they get on their tables, at their family dinners at night, is a product of hard work of our agricultural sector and of our farmers, and in particular this week is a celebration, of course, of all things beef.
Well, to steal a line from Matt Canavan, there's a lot of BS at Beef Week and none of it's coming from the animals. The Prime Minister even tweeted he wanted more Aussie beef on more plates, which is interesting because that's not what his Health Minister, Mark Butler, wanted just 11 weeks ago when he agreed and supported with plans to list beef's climate impact on official Australian dietary guidelines. If the government's climate Karens have their way, Rockhampton won't host Beef Week, they'll host Bug Week. But not just that, Australian farmers have been complaining about how Labor governments have been bullying them, trying to acquire their agricultural land for wind and solar farms. So if Labor and Anthony Albanese are friends of beef farmers, I would hate to meet their enemies. Liz, this is just another example of Anthony Albanese speaking out of both sides of his mouth, isn't it?
I'm surprised they let him come. I would have been revoked that invitation, but of course there were 33,000 attendees. So this guy's like 33,000 votes in one room. I can't pass up this opportunity. But it's also going years and years back to the Gillard government when they, in 2011, did that ridiculous ad hoc ban on live export of cattle. There's still a class action going on by over 200 farmers who were affected by that. They reckon they could have exported over 800,000 more cattle to Indonesia and therefore lost out big time monetarily. So that class action is still ongoing. Then you've got the government's biosecurity levy that they're proposing, which will also impact farmers. I've had a few farmers I know, I grew up in country Victoria, tell me that this is one of the worst governments in Australia's history when it comes to looking after farmers. So the absolute gall of this guy to even attend and then to pretend to be a man of the people, when, like you say, just 11 weeks ago, his government was giving the thumbs up to these new dietary guidelines that have nothing to do with what is conducive to human bodily flourishing. It's got nothing to do with nutrition anymore. No, it's all about the elites pushing their agenda, their green agenda, because we all know all cattle are ravaging the planet. They eat grass, which is just so terrible. Can't possibly have that. Grass isn't meant to be eaten anymore, apparently. Then, of course, there's the case of methane. These cows just fart all day, every day. Again, just ripping the planet apart. Here's a great quote from National Farmers Federation Chief Executive Tony Mahar just last August when he was taking on the government regarding the compulsory acquisition of land. You can't simply plough ahead with policy around renewable energy, treat farmers with contempt and blatantly ignore the impacts that it's going to have on agriculture, rural and regional communities and businesses. Well, that's exactly what Albanese is busy doing at Beef 2024 as he's pressing the flesh, shilling for votes, pretending to be their friend, and they all know full well he's absolutely full of it.
We've got to be fair to him, though. As the Prime Minister, he would know a fair bit about bull, and he would certainly know a fair bit about having beef with people, and he would certainly know a fair bit about the gases that come out of most people's and cattle's rear end, except for him, it just comes out of the front end. But it's just the ultimate example of each way elbow, isn't it? You know, over here it's all great for the cattle industry, over here we're all worried about the climate. And he went on, like, well, you saw that video there, which was, you know, just fantastic, him there cosplaying as a farmer in his a Cupra. But he then went on to tweet that Australian beef is famous world over, and tonight's industry awards were all about celebrating the farmers who produce it. He then goes on to say, whether it's by improving biosecurity or strengthening trade, we're working with the industry to get Australian beef on more plates. Well, as we just told you, with this business where they're going to rejig the health outlines, the nutritional outlines, to tell you what you should and shouldn't eat on the basis of the emissions, it's not about getting beef on more plates, it's about having beef on fewer plates. It's just typical Albo-nokio, isn't it? You know, just making it up as he goes along.
And it's straight out of the World Economic Forum playbook. They all want us to transition to a plant-based diet because it's so much better for the planet.